Hi, this is Kathy Campbell with Coldwell Banker, bringing you this month's Market Minute. Today we're going to talk about home inspections, and I've got Mark Nance here with Nance Inspections, one of my favorite home inspectors, and he's going to tell us some things to look for in either as a seller or a buyer and about having your home inspected. So Mark, what do you think?
Hello, I'm Mark Nance, owner and operator of Nance Inspections. We're here today to talk to you about the importance of having a home inspection. Having a home inspection is important whether you're buying or selling a home because it can potentially reveal major issues on the home that the buyer or seller would need to know about. Many people ask me, is a home inspection really worth it? Isn't that just money down the drain, so to speak? Well, it's not. A home inspection almost always turns up at least one issue that will potentially pay for the cost of the home inspection. Whenever I perform my inspections, I generally spend about 2 hours inspecting the interior and exterior of the home, from the footings, foundation, all the way up to the peak of the home. I go into the attic and crawl spaces, many areas that the buyers or sellers would never go or be aware of on the home. When choosing a home inspector, it's very important to choose carefully. You should find someone that has experience in construction and has done many home inspections. Here in the state of Utah, home inspectors are not required to be licensed or certified, which is quite amazing to me. So that's why it's important to use someone like myself, Mark Nance of Nance Inspections. I've been a general and mechanical contractor for over 25 years and have been performing inspections since 1992, starting with a Texas inspection license. I performed 397 inspections in 2017 with 0 callbacks, no major items missed, and no minor ones that I know of. So it is very important to find a home inspector that has experience and can produce a home inspection report that is usable for the buyer or seller.
So Mark, why don't you tell me a little bit about what are some of the most common problems you see in a home?
Well, Kathy, probably the most consistent common problem that I see on home is undersized and poor HVAC equipment on houses.
Okay.
And that can be very costly on a home. Usually the average HVAC system to replace it, if it's in poor condition, usually runs about $10,000. So it's very important to have that looked at by a professional. And when I do look at the HVAC systems, I check the temperatures on the air conditioning and the heaters, which the average buyer or seller would never think to do, and that can be an indication of the condition of the HVAC system.
Okay. Do you remember that furnace you inspected for me one time? If you follow me on Facebook, you would have seen these photos.
How could I ever forget that one? I opened that furnace with my face about 6 inches from the furnace, and lo and behold, there was a boa constrictor snake inside.
Luckily it was dead.
It was dead, but I still jumped through the roof.
Okay, something you always call on is often you say the pressure regulator valve's not working or the water pressure's too high. So
True.
Why is that a big deal with a home? I mean,
Well,
you want a lot of water pressure coming out of the faucet?
A lot of people do want a lot of water pressure to come out of the faucet, but it's not always a good idea to have a lot of water pressure because it can cause the pressure relief valve on your water heater to open and possibly flood the home.
Okay.
Usually the water heaters are in the basement, and oftentimes those do open and flood the home. And that's why, Kathy, they have started installing these pressure relief tanks on water heaters.
Oh yeah.
So that's another code item now that we look for on inspections. So if you don't have a pressure relief tank on your water heater, and you don't have a pressure regulator valve, or the regulator valve has gone out, and you get high water pressure on the house, and I've seen 180 pounds of water pressure in Provo several times, which is extremely high. That would definitely cause your pressure relief valve on your water heater to open and flood your home. With that much pressure, it can also cause plumbing connections to break and leak and flood the home. So very important to have those items looked at.
So I need to take a little longer to fill up my bathtub, keep the pressure down.
Absolutely,
Okay,
that's
good.
right. Yeah.
And one thing you often call on many of my inspections is the strapping on the water heaters is not up to code, because we are in earthquake territory here, right?
That's true.
So tell me what the code requires there for a water tank to be, or water heater to be stable.
That's a good question, Kathy. Good safety question.
Okay.
A water heater is required to have 2 1/2 straps, one 1/3 from the top, one 1/3 from the bottom, bolted to the foundation or the framing of the walls. And the reason that they require that is so that if we do have an earthquake and the water heater were to fall over, they're trying to prevent the gas valve
Gas
from
and
breaking
fire.
loose. And
Okay.
usually that causes an explosion, and that's never a good thing on your home. So
Very
that's what we're looking for there as far as that's concerned.
Okay.
Also, we're looking for flex lines on furnaces as far as earthquakes are concerned. Looking for flex lines on furnaces and water heaters, and that's also an earthquake issue. If we have an earthquake and your furnace does not have a flex line installed and that unit moves around, it can potentially break the gas valve loose and cause an explosion on
So
the
that
home.
gas line needs to be, I think the last one you wanted, stainless steel flex line. Is
Exactly.
that right?
That's a good
Better
point.
than brass, you said?
Some of the old gas lines are made out of brass, and they're quite soft, and with any movement on those, they will usually break right open and cause a gas leak. So that's a good question, Kathy.
Okay.
And something else that we look for on inspections. So when we do our inspections, we look for many safety items on the home, and we look at all the mechanical components of the home too, to be sure we don't have any cracks in the foundation, no broken trusses in the attic, no unlevel floors, and if unlevel, we determine the reason why and let the buyers or sellers know about that. So we do a complete structural and mechanical inspection on the home.
Awesome. And you've been up on roofs and in some nasty attics before, I know that, so.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm in the condition that I'm in now.
You're great. And one other question I get is people wondering if they should have a mold test. Do you have a good guideline on when we know there might be a mold problem in a home? Or?
Well, Kathy, usually if you have a mold issue in your house, you're going to see a water issue first in your home.
Okay.
So not always, but I would say 90% of the time, you're going to, well, maybe not the buyer, the seller will notice this, but a good home inspector will notice either swollen baseboards on the home in the basement, drywall seams that are showing, that are puffy.
Okay.
There's several different indications. Many times I will just pull back the carpet below the basement windows and look at the tack strip to see what condition it's in. And many times where you've had water leaking in at those areas, the tack strip will be deteriorated, moldy, and it'll be wet at that area. So
okay.
that's something that we look for, and that's usually where you get your mold in the basements or around your windows, window wells, due to either bad grading on the home where the soil slopes back towards the home.
Okay.
Sprinkler systems will cause those issues, and downspouts also. Your gutter downspouts should have extensions on those and run away from your window wells, and actually run away from the house in general
Okay.
to stop any potential water intrusion into your basement.
Well, Mark, that is some really good information. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Kathy.
You
It was my
are-
pleasure.
Appreciate it. You're an expert, and I am grateful for all the service you've given to me and my clients. So,
I'm grateful that you have referred me to your clients, and it's always a pleasure to work with you on your inspections.
thank you.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for watching today. And if you have any questions, Mark Nance is a great guy to go for home inspection, and there's some other great ones on the market too. I wish you well. Bye-bye.
Thank you.